This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
See if this sounds familiar. A senior vice president, SVP, in a small corporation called me for some help. Her division had just reorganized, and one of the units in it had been newly created to help with some issues that had plagued the division for years. While this new unit was trying to get its focus and its vision, there was increasing conflict in the whole division. The reorganization had pulled some people off of the work they had been doing, and everyone was feeling pinched and irritable. The SVP noticed that conflict was springing up all over, and that the lines of communication, which had never been stellar, were disintegrating. She worried that unless they began to really understand one another and learn how to deal with their disagreements, new silos would spring up that were worse than the ones the reorganization was designed to dismantle. She thought some kind of retreat would be just what the group needed, including a few days of the basics, listening skills, Myers-Briggs, and so forth, to get into a better space with each other. We decided on a joint focus of, on the one hand, trying to understand and make sense of this new structure now that it was in place, and, on the other hand, building skills around listening to one another and dealing well with the inevitable conflict. We picked a date, the client found a venue, and I bought airplane tickets. The first day of the retreat was fantastic. The group was much less divided than I had feared, and they were eager to learn new skills and tools. It wasn't until the end of the first day that I picked up on the murmurs about two of the members of the group, both in the newly organized unit. By the end of the morning session on the second day, I had begun to pay attention to those two fellows, and it was clear that they hated one another. In clipped, polite in front of the outsider tones, they interacted tersely, each of them looking like he might swat at the other given any provocation. How had I missed this on day one? Because I thought the problem was between units inside this division, not inside a single unit. I had designed the first day to mix the units up. This was a team-building retreat, after all. It was only as we began to unpack strategy that the units got together, and I saw what the SVP had seen. Now the level of anxiety in the room was high. Other groups of people were warily watching the two at the heart of the conflict, and the easy banter of the day before was gone. I took my client outside the meeting room at a break time and asked her to describe these two guys. "They hate each other," she said. "That's another thing that's going on here."